We spend our entire lives chasing a finish line that we assume will finally grant us the right to feel at peace with ourselves. We believe that once the title is secured, the bank account is filled, or the status is achieved, the internal noise will finally stop. You have been told that ambition is a virtue. You have been told that your drive to succeed is the most noble part of you. By all appearances, you are winning. You have the external markers of a life that others envy, yet you feel strangely hollow and detached. You check the boxes, hit the targets, and receive the applause, but the satisfaction lasts for only a few seconds before it evaporates entirely. Most people call this imposter syndrome or burnout. They think you just need a vacation or a new perspective on your work-life balance. They suggest mindfulness apps, gratitude journals, or luxury escapes. They promise that rediscovering your why will fill the void you feel every night. But these are shallow distractions for a cold, biological reality. Your success is not a gift. It is a highly specialized camouflage for survival. You aren't failing at being happy. You are succeeding at a game designed to keep you running until the very moment your heart stops. Your emptiness is not a mistake. It is the intended result of a psychological mechanism that has traded your humanity for a status. We assume that successful people are the masters of their own destiny. We think they have conquered the limitations of the average man. The truth is much darker. You are not the master of your drive. You are the host for a relentless parasite of more. The hollow feeling you carry is the space where your true self used to exist before it was hollowed out to make room. You are not chasing greatness. You are chasing an escape from a deep internal sense of worthlessness that you refuse to acknowledge. This is the hidden trap of the high achiever. You have built a magnificent skyscraper on top of a foundation made of thin ice. You might wonder why your mind refuses to let you enjoy the view from the top. It feels like a cruel cosmic joke. We call this the performance of the mask. Your brain has decided that being impressive is the only way to ensure you're safe. Most creators will tell you how to be more productive. They want to lead you deeper into the maze you are already lost in. On this channel, we do not care about your peak performance. We care about the cold, mechanical reasons why you feel like a ghost. This is the only place where the truth is not polished for your comfort. We look directly at the machine that is consuming you. If you are ready to stop lying to yourself about why you can never stop running, you have found the only honest mirror. Stop living in the dark. Join those who have the courage to face the uncomfortable reality of their own internal, hollowed-out architecture. Click the subscribe button now. It is the moment you stop being a performer and start becoming an observer of your own internal decay. By subscribing, you are acknowledging that the success you have achieved is actually a barricade against the person you are terrified to be. Now that you have committed to the truth, we must look at the blueprint of your addiction to external validation. The reason you can't stop achieving isn't because you are gifted. It is because your brain views being average as a death sentence. Your brain is making a cold, evolutionary calculation that places your social rank far above your actual well-being or your personal happiness. But what happens when the mechanism that forced you to the top becomes the very thing that prevents you from ever feeling alive? The answer lies in the cold logic of the pack. To understand why you feel like an empty shell, we must look much deeper. Do you know what your brain sees when you finally reach a major milestone? It doesn't see a reason to rest or celebrate. It sees a target on your back. It sees a new baseline that you must now defend with even more frantic, soul-crushing effort. To understand the hollow ache inside your success, we must look at the logic of the pack animal. Social hierarchy is life or death. In the ancestral wild, being at the bottom of the tribe meant you were the last to eat and the first to be abandoned. The brain does not perceive status as a luxury or a bonus. It perceives status as the ultimate insurance policy for your DNA. Your relentless drive to achieve is not an intellectual choice. It is a primitive response to the terror of being socially invisible. The empty shell feeling is the biological price you pay for prioritizing your rank over your actual internal state of being. To the survival instinct, your happiness is a useless variable. It would gladly trade your joy for a 5% increase in power. You have spent years training your nervous system to respond only to external markers of worth. You have outsourced your soul. When you hit a goal, your brain releases a short burst of chemicals to ensure you continue the behavior. This is the bait. The chemicals disappear almost immediately because a satisfied animal is a lazy animal. A lazy animal is a dead animal in nature. Your brain purposefully denies you long-term satisfaction to keep you in a state of perpetual, hungry, and focused agitation. You are not driven by passion. You are being herded by a biological system that treats your contentment as a dangerous malfunction. Ask yourself this: if you lost all your titles and wealth tomorrow, would there be anyone left inside your skin to meet the world? Or have you become so fused with your performance that the person beneath the suit has simply withered away from neglect? The high achiever lives in a state of constant social hypervigilance. You are always scanning for threats to your hard-earned reputation. Every person you meet is either a rung on the ladder or a competitor trying to pull you down to their level. This prevents true intimacy. You cannot be seen by others because you are too busy making sure they only see the facade. Your brain interprets vulnerability as a weakness that could lead to a loss of status. Therefore, vulnerability is strictly forbidden. You have built a perfect life that you cannot actually live in. You are a curator of a museum that you are not allowed to touch. The shell is the protective layer you have grown to shield yourself from the perceived shame of being an ordinary human being. Ordinary is synonymous with expendable in the logic of the pack. You have sacrificed your peace to ensure you are not expendable. Does it feel like you are a character in a movie who has forgotten the actor's name? You are playing a role you hate, but you cannot stop playing it because your brain tells you that the moment the performance ends, the tribe will cast you out. This is the cold mechanism of the status addict. You are running on a treadmill that only moves faster the more you succeed. You are addicted to the high of the win because it is the only time you feel a temporary relief from your baseline anxiety. But the anxiety is built into the system. It is the fuel that keeps the engine of your ambition turning at a lethal speed. You have traded the ability to feel for the ability to perform. It is a logical trade for a survivor, but a tragic one for a human. What happens to a machine that is never allowed to cool down? It begins to burn from the inside out while looking perfect. You are currently in the process of internal combustion. Your external success is the smoke that hides the fire from the world. We are about to look at the invisible damage this does to your sense of reality and your ability to connect with the living. The damage is not in the work you do. The damage is in the person you had to kill to get that work done. Are you prepared to see the ghost of the person you were before you decided that being the best was the only way to be safe? The invisible damage of being an empty shell is the total erosion of your ability to experience reality without a filter. You have spent so long viewing your life through the lens of impact and legacy that you have lost the capacity for presence. You no longer eat a meal. You consume fuel for your next meeting. You do not go on a walk. You optimize your health metrics. Every moment of your life has been weaponized in the service of your goals. There is no longer any room for a spontaneous soul. You are allowed to recognize that your current life is a high-performance prison. The bars are made of gold, but they are still bars. You have permission to see that you have been treating your own heart like an uncooperative employee that needs to be managed. The tragedy of the empty shell is that you have become a stranger to your own desires. You only know what you should want. You have internalized the expectations of the market, the company, or the family until they have become your only internal voice. By acting out the role of the winner, you have effectively silenced the person who just wanted to be loved for no reason. You are performing a slow, methodical erasure of your own vulnerabilities. You are becoming a statue of a person rather than a person. This creates a profound sense of isolation. Even when you are surrounded by admirers, you feel completely and utterly alone. They are applauding the mask. They are cheering for the shell. No one is looking at the exhausted, starving person hiding inside it. The identity you have built is a fortress that is too heavy to leave. You are trapped in your own reputation. You are allowed to feel the crushing weight of the expectations you have set for yourself. It is a burden you were never meant to carry. This weight is not a sign of your strength. It is the sound of your internal structure buckling under the pressure of a lie. You have permission to admit that you are tired of being impressive. You are tired of having to be on for the world. But the survival instinct warns you that if you stop, if you become ordinary, the world will lose interest in your existence. It tells you that your value is strictly tied to your output. If you produce nothing, you are nothing. This is the parasite's logic. You are living in a loop where the only way to feel worthy is to do more, which only makes you feel more hollow. It is a cycle of diminishing returns. You are pouring your life force into a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. The consequence is a life that feels like a long, expensive rehearsal for a play that will never actually have an opening night. You are waiting for a permission slip to be human that will never come from the external world. You have to write it yourself, but you have forgotten how to use the pen. You have forgotten the sound of your own natural, uncoerced voice. What happens when you realize that the ladder you've been climbing is leaning against a wall that doesn't actually exist? What if the top is just a cold, windy place where you have even less air to breathe than you did at the bottom? The damage is done. Your sense of self has been hollowed out to make room for the trophies of a life you didn't choose. You are reaching a point where the performance is no longer sustainable. The mask is starting to crack from the internal pressure. You are allowed to let it break. You are allowed to see the person who has been gasping for air inside that suit. But the recognition of what you have lost is a pain that is far more intense than the exhaustion of the climb. Are you prepared to face the void that remains when you stop defining yourself by what you have achieved for others? The recognition of your hollowness is the moment you realize that your life has become a highly successful funeral for your soul. You have spent decades building a monument to a person you never actually wanted to be, just to satisfy a fear you never named. Now you see the trophies for what they are. They are not rewards. They are the heavy stones you used to seal your own tomb. The success you achieved is the ultimate distraction. It allowed you to ignore the fact that you have no idea who you are. You have achieved the ultimate goal of the survival instinct. You are so powerful and so impressive that no one can ever hurt you. But the cost of that safety is that no one can ever touch you either. You are perfectly insulated and perfectly alone in your skin. The emptiness you feel is not a deficit of achievement. It is the natural silence that follows the total evacuation of a human heart. You look in the mirror and realize that the person staring back is just a well-maintained corporate asset with a human face attached. The real you is the one who feels a terrifying sense of dread every time the phone rings with a new opportunity for growth. This is the haunting clarity of the high achiever. You are not a leader or a visionary. You are a hostage to your own reputation. You choose the shell because the shell doesn't feel pain. The shell doesn't have needs. The shell only has a set of deliverables. There is no advice to give because you cannot tell a statue how to breathe. You can only watch the stone begin to crumble. You will likely sign another deal, take another promotion, or buy another house to try and quiet the screaming in the basement. And then, with the cold efficiency of a machine, you will realize that the new possession is just more weight for the shell. The cycle is not a mistake. It is the way your brain ensures that you never have to face the terrifying reality of being enough. You realize now that the ambition you were praised for was just a socially acceptable form of self-erasure and internal flight. You were always the one who was going to keep running. You were the one who made the performance the only reality you own. The people who envy you are not looking at a person. They are looking at a mirage that you have sacrificed your life to maintain. The truth is that you don't actually want to slow down. You want to be stopped by a force you can finally blame for your failure. Every time you say yes to a new burden, you are casting a vote for the person you have become. You are winning the void. It is a lonely victory, but it is the only one you know how to count. You are the undisputed master of your own internal desert. You will go to bed tonight in the quiet of a life that is functionally perfect and spiritually dead. You have everything and nothing. You will tell yourself that you are building a legacy, but you will know in the dark that you are just avoiding the silence. The shell is now the only thing that the world recognizes. If you stepped out of it, you would be invisible, even to yourself. You will continue to be the architect of your own exhaustion, because the alternative is a vulnerability you are not brave enough to face. The realization is cold and permanent. You are the only person who can stop the climb, and you are the only person who won't. The machine will keep humming. The status will keep rising. The hollowness will keep expanding until there is nothing left to hold. And you will stand at the top of the mountain you built, looking down at the world, realizing you have nowhere left to go. You are safe now. You are untouchable. You are a masterpiece of modern success that has completely forgotten how to be a human. In the end, we don't achieve greatness to find ourselves. We achieve greatness to make sure we are never found by anyone at all. It is much easier to be the one who wins than the one who has to figure out what they are actually winning the race for. The office is quiet now. The screen is dark. The success has finally become the only thing you have left to call your identity. I wonder if the view from the top is worth the person you had to murder to get a clear look at the horizon. You have won the battle against insignificance. And now you have the rest of your life to live with the shell you've become. The ladder is still there, but you have reached the last rung and realized that the sky above you is made of cold, hard glass. We are so obsessed with being someone that we eventually become no one at all, just a polished reflection of everyone else's expectations. Perhaps the most haunting realization is that your success isn't a ladder to heaven, but a shovel you used to dig a hole deep enough to hide in. If you lost the mask tomorrow, would you even recognize the face that's been hiding underneath it all these years?